Stay focused, Michi. Alright, so the theme for this year is the impacts of glacial degradation in the land of wood and water. So essentially, glacial degradation is the shrinking and melting of our glaciers due to increase in temperatures. So the impact that it has a lot of impacts, both direct and indirectly. Directly is that it may cause flooding in the areas where these glaciers are melting. Indirectly, how it affects Jamaica is sea level rise as well as coastal erosion. So those two go hand in hand. So with the sea level rise, it affects our fresh water because the inward movement of salt water causes saline intrusion, and this affects mostly areas that are near to the coast where we have freshwater wells pumping. If we don't have a good aquifer recharge, then the salt water seeps into the aquifer. Just like how the aquifer has conduits to let out the water for the water to move and resurface and appear as springs or it meets rivers, those same conduits can have salt water moving inwards, and that's how it contaminates the aquifer. Another way is that the barrier. So in some cases you might have a limestone aquiclude or some type of coastal aquiclude that acts as a barrier to keep the fresh water and the salt water from mixing. In some cases there's a pressure basically that the fresh water has and the salt water has, so it's a pressure balance. So if there's more salt water than the fresh water, then you know that pressure is going to be unbalanced, and then the salt water is going to overpower the fresh water. So that's basically how it affects our wells and aquifers in Jamaica. Recently, the Water Resources Authority, otherwise called the WRA, did a study on the Essex Valley wells. In that project, 9 wells were drilled and some of them had salt content in them. So that's one of the main impacts that's glacial degradation is having in Jamaica and in the Caribbean as a whole. Some other impacts such as increase in temperatures due to the melting. So because you don't have that water to, or that glacier, I'm gonna have to cut out that part. So because you don't have the same cover that the glacier would cover or would capture, then you have changing rainfall patterns, changing weather patterns. So you have more droughts, more hurricanes, the frequency and intensity of these natural disasters. So it happens that it affects our farmers since the droughts, hurricanes, for example, Raphael that passed the other day, and then we have extensive droughts. And remember, I told you that the aquifer is not being recharged. So all those are indirect impacts of glacial degradation. So I'm going to show you what's happening today. I'm still at work. All the directors are here. The CEO, the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Floyd Green, is gonna be here as well. So I'll see if I can capture some snippets, but I have to be mindful that I am at work, so I have to put that first. But I'll still show you guys what's going on. So stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in, and catch you guys back soon.
World Water Day, the inaugural for the National Irrigation Commission, and it's our stakeholders forum and training session under the theme impacts of glacial degradation in the land and the land of wood and water. And we want to set some tone for today. Whenever I raise my hand, we're going to repeat this water means food. So I'm raising my hand. What we should say? Water means food. Right. So we have lots of prizes and surprises, lots of giveaways, and our honorable minister is already here. I know it's a budget presentation and parliament. So The vision of the National Irrigation Commission Limited, NIC, is to be the regional leader in the provision of world-class irrigation services. The National Irrigation Commission set out to meet the needs of customers by delivering high-quality irrigation services driven by competent staff, technology, innovation, collaboration with partners. And we do this under some key core values. Number one, teamwork, respect, excellence, commitment, customer-centric, knowledge-driven, and sustainability. The Commission was established under the Companies Act of Jamaica in 1986, just a year after I was born, and became in operation in 1987 under the Irrigation Act of 1949. So, ladies and gentlemen, this institution, organization, have been doing a lot of work. And the gentleman that talked about the innovation, the investment, and I want you all to put your hands together and every welcome to bring greetings our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Joseph Gyles. Please put your hands together.
Thank you very much, my friend, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Ted McLean. Even though I don't look like 30, but yes, I've been with the organization for over 30 years. Honorable Floyd Green, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Chief Technical Directors who are on their way, members of the NIC Board, heads of agency, NIC Executive, Mr. Calvin Weiss, Director, Principal of the Ebony Park Art Academy, farmers, and I know my friend from way back when, Mr. Rowe, you know you are this neck of the wood, students and agricultural teachers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We are here today for one reason, and one reason only. We are here today because water means food. Each year, the National Irrigation Commission Limited joins Jamaica and the rest of the world in the global recognition of World Water Day to highlight the issues surrounding the access and management of water. The theme of this year's recognition, impacts of glacial degradation in the land of wood and water, is particularly relevant to our work at the National Irrigation Commission Limited. As we launch our Water Means Food campaign today, I want to emphasize the critical role that water plays in agriculture. Water is the backbone of food production, and without it, our food security is severely compromised. The simple truth is that water means food, and it is our responsibility to manage this precious resource effectively. As we celebrate World Water Day, I also want to take a moment to reflect on the history of National Irrigation Commission Limited. Established.
So it's going to put up my hand and I will stop. I'm going to DJ. Right? We're ready for this. Ready again? So let's start. 1, 2, 3. Again. The river. The river. Come again. Some river run straight, some river run bend, some river make paths for the tourists there. River cross over hill, down in the valley, it come right back and it end and the sea. Oh please, can I tell you to the Rio Grande? The river. The deep. Come again. Farmers spray vegetable with the pesticide then, especially the one named metaldehyde. And guess what? The farm right at the riverside. So in the water, the chemical side. You know, one fungicide here with a mill, some farmer use it like how people get bill. If you don't attack, they must scrape on the hill. The vegetable go in the river and river, love in the river, chuck in the river, light in the river, but I want to you know me now. Clap on yourself for the morning. How was my river start? Is that alright? Yes, alright. Now listen, boys and girls, I have the task is mine to introduce you a very talented individual. Most of us know him as our member of parliament, some know him as the DJ selector, some know him as the dancer, but he is our honorable minister, multi-talented person. Please put your hands together and welcome my minister, the honorable Floyd Green, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries. Can we have a big round of applause for Mr. Ted Roy McLean? Wonderful, wonderful host. Our 4-H, he is a 4-H. Am I going good, not true? Yes. He's full of vibes. I look like he has a talent, not true? I'm posted. Okay, I'm posted. Our State Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Mr. Franklin Witter, of course, other members of our technical team, our chief technical directors, our permanent secretary, our board chairman and members of the board, our National Irrigation Commission team headed by Mr. Joseph Gyles. I see Mr. Stewart here, heard on radio a little earlier. Give the NSTA a big round of applause. They are why we are here today. Our director, our principal here, Mr. Calvin Wees. Always a pleasure to be here at Ebony Park with you. Members of the ministry, members of the media, farmers, students, teachers, ladies and gentlemen. Our students from Ebony Park, are you here? Let me hear all the students who are here today. All right, wonderful. Can we also clap Sherwin? It's Sherwin at the girl of all right, what schools are here today? What school is over here? What? You think so low? Can I hear it for Kempston High School? Which other school is here?
Hazard Primary.
Can we hear it for Hazard Primary? Who else is here? Any other school? Any school left out? When we say Ebony Park, that's what I name called over and over and over and over again. We all understand that water is the silent force that sustains life. It's the force that's important for growth, for nourishment, and in fact, water unites all of us. Every farmer, every community, every nation that is thriving for food security will have to depend on water. And that is why we're here today to celebrate World Water Day. And last year I said to the National Irrigation Commission that water is so important to agriculture, that the National Irrigation Commission is so important to all we do at the ministry and to our farmers, that we need to have our own World Water Day celebration. We don't need to piggyback on anybody. So I want to really clap the NIC because they said they would do it, and we are here doing it today. And you have heard the theme, which speaks about degradation and the fact of the impact that it is having on all of the world, but especially our land of wood and water. And it really underscores the pressing need for us to be proactive in relation to our water management. I don't have to convince you that the climate has changed. We know that for a fact, right? The climate is different now, not true? Even if you've just been on the earth for the last 10 years, things are different than when you started this journey. Times that we were expecting a lot of rainfall, we now see periods of drought. Times that we don't expect rain, we see torrential storms. In fact, last year was a year that signaled how different the climate is. The start of the year, we started with drought. And by June, we were into our biggest ever hurricane at that time of the year, Hurricane Mary. And when we thought everything was finished and we were getting back to regular programming in November, we had rains almost every single day in November. In fact, last year in November, the rainfall was higher than our 30-year average rainfall. Most rain we have seen in the past 30 years. So the climate has changed. And as the climate changes, as we see challenges like saltwater intrusion, we see that the ability to get fresh water is becoming more difficult. And as such, water in general, but water for farming and understanding that water means food, means we have to do more to get water sources for our farmers, and when our farmers get the water, we have to do more to protect it. In fact, I will start there because this is not just about farmers. Every farmer, every policymaker, every student, every educator, every single citizen needs to make a deliberate attempt to conserve water. What do we need to do? Conserve. And use water efficiently. And it's a message that we're using World Water Day to send to our farmers that when you get the water, don't waste the water. Sometimes when the farmer get the water, they say, yes, we have water now. And as such, water must run right through, day and night. But that is not the efficient use of the resource. And part of what we've been doing at the NSTA is ensure that we're bringing more data to our farmers to say, this is what your specific crop needs. And if we tell you what your specific crop needs and you give it that amount of water, anything extra is wastage. And we're trying to use World Water Day to bring down wastage of water. And as such, to our farmers, students, researchers, community leaders who are here, the first message is let us ensure that we are conserving and efficiently using water so that we will have enough water to build a resilient agricultural sector. Now, for us at the Ministry of Agriculture, our water champion, our water boss is the National Irrigation Commission. And they have been providing quality irrigation services for decades now. As you would have heard, they would have come together. We would have merged a number of different irrigation authorities to form the National Irrigation Commission in the 1980s. And they are directly contributing to our productivity and directly ensuring that the quality and availability of food is there because they're making water available for our agricultural sector. And part of what we've been doing is to look at the networks that the Irrigation Commission already has and to see how we can make them better. Firstly, as we see longer droughts, how we can expand our services so that more farmers have access to water. And I can tell you over the last few years, the National Irrigation Commission has been doing an excellent job of looking at the resources that they have and expanding that. So, in the Hounslow sector, we have been expanding. We've gone into Downs Valley, we've gone into parts of Success, expanding our pipe network so that more farmers can have access to water. In Clarkstown, over there in Trelawney, we did a brand new ramp and provided them with a truck. So even though we don't have the pipes to the farms, we now have a trucking service that is providing water to our farmers over there in Trelawney. We've expanded what we've done in Bernard Lodge, and in fact right now in New Forest, Minnesota, we're building a brand new tank so that we can expand our network to get more water to our farmers. And we could just focus on expansion, but expansion is one element. If we're going to say to the farmers, you must be more efficient, then the NIC itself has to be more efficient in the production of water. We have to look at how can we lower our costs to produce the water that we give to our farmers. And we looked around and we said, you know, what are the best way to do that? Well, let me see.
So this is our core samples that we've taken from Yellows West. So if you look here, there are different colors, formations. So the formation differ in color as well as depth. Look here, this one is from the white limestone group of the Gibraltar Running Gate member. This is within the limestone aquifer. So the aquifer is the area that stores the water on the ground, while over here is the basal aquifer where basically none water being there. So this one you can see if we remove from pure limestone to impure limestone, it changes in color from white to grey. And finally down here where the complete change to brown, dark brown, which indicates that less water in this state. So this one is from 555 to 564 feet below ground level. So this is the basal aquifer, and then you have our serendipity tool here, the one that I recently procured for my department. What it does, it measures static and drawdown in our boreholes and wells. I built this last year to demonstrate the water level measurement. So we'll take this as a borehole because boreholes are basically smaller versions to wells, typically 4 inches with a 2-inch PVC inside of it. So this model, as mentioned, records static and drawdown. So if you look at the control panel here at the side, you should see a red light when it reaches the water if you're measuring static water level, or if you're measuring drawdown, you will see the red light. Typically what they do, they put both options of it on it, one where you can hear it and the second one is where you see the light indicated. Reason being, when you're drilling and you're testing water level, you won't be able to hear it, you'll be able to see the indicator. So just demonstrate it here. Take your time. I'm doing this the wrong way, by the way, and then you'll hear it right there. So go back up and then you'll measure it from the top of casing, and this one is imperial, so it's measured in feet. So this would be 2.8 feet below ground level, and then you record that and keep it in your data set over a period of time to see how the fluctuations in groundwater level, how it's affected by recharge, for example rainfall or other events such as drought. Right, so that's it for my booth. So this is after we did the core holes, we went ahead and did the well designs, and then we started doing the wells now that you guys have seen in previous videos. So I've done a lot of work on these projects. Proud of myself, proud of my organization as we move forward to being the regional leader in providing irrigation services. And this is the Rada booth at Rada Clarendon. This is the Rada Clarendon booth at the Ebony Park World Water Day 2025. Looking beautiful. And see, they're demonstrating some irrigation. Alright, so here we have drip irrigation with mulching. So the more efficient type of irrigation being depicted here in this presentation. Alright, so the presentation has started inside, so we're gonna move inside to capture that. Here we have at the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Agriculture Land Management Division. So they deal with all aspects of land management, soil, etc. So currently they are having display some of their probes, some of their soil moisture probes and other devices that they use to carry out their activities. Probably millions will look one enough, who knows. But yeah, these are our soil probe devices. So here at the Ebony Park, these are all the products that they make. You know, for frying, man, you know. And these are all sold at their store. So we have ketchup, jerk sauce, jerk seasoning, hot sauce. Great display.
That area is also up for investment, and within this area we're looking for persons who are interested in raw production. So whether it's orchard crops, whether it's root crops, tubers, all of those, the opportunity exists to become an investor within that space. So Amity Hall Bridge 10, which you know is in St. Catherine, that has approximately 965 acres, and then Parnassus in
You can see my colleague said that she was very hot. That was influencing the climate. Yes, so and when it is too cold, we have a problem. So it's a temperature, average temperature, and the temperature range. You know, I was listening to the radio this morning, and the presenter said that, can you believe that this morning the temperature in Mandeville was 15 degrees Celsius? Listen, that is something. Something. I'm sure the persons at Ebony Park would love that temperature. You need to get the rings fixed. Yes, here we're contributing to it. Deforestation. If you look on the inside, you see the persons who come from town. All the inside just have come down. So I will just have to put up concrete. And when it rains, no water can go to the side, through that side anymore. You just have to come down. The people in life who live at Portmore. Don't worry. You understand? So cleans are first for agriculture, urbanization, and this is logging, you know, American term. But I will work about tree. Make furniture. Because we don't want it bag as wood. We want good mahogany furniture and all this other stuff. But we have to see that. But there's a balance that needs to be struck. Land use change, that is conversion of natural habitats such as wetlands and grassland to agricultural land or urban areas. And that is what we are good at. One more space because everyone wants to live in Kingston. Can't manage the country. You know what somebody said to me? Anyway, you have to travel more than 15 minutes to go work to live far. So everybody wants to live in Kingston. But it is, that is thermal expansion and melting of glaciers and ice. And listen. In 2013, ready for that, and I went down Alligator Park. And you see where we got Likowochi. When we went here, man, we were looking way over yonder at the sea. And you see now, you see just a come from Blackish shop, so it all take it. So we're sure. Don't listen to what some big guy from some big country say. They don't believe in climate change. It is real. Real as the big deal at KFC. So you have extreme weather events that is increased frequency and intensity of heat waves, drought, and heavy rainfall. And can I say something to us? We're not having more rainfall than when you hear people talking about 1960s and so. I tell you though, what we have a very erratic pattern. And what you have a high intensity rainfall, so it creates a more damage. Yes, because I teach you a secret. You see, from the big man upstairs created this heaven and earth, not an iota of water has increased, but that can be increased. So it's just real. But it is locked up in many different ways. And we are contributing to it, you see. Make it behave in a certain way that is not good for how we live. So, loss of biodiversity, changes in the ecosystem, habitat, and species extinction. How we live. I saw somebody running from some little frogs and all that sort of stuff. In Australia, you can't kill those stuff enough. They just run with you, and you have to live with them. Just you can't. You go on the highway, you see in the middle of the road a bush. You just have to live with it. But we decided that listen, we have to change because we don't like frog, we don't like green lizard. I remember when I was a boy, my father I've been slingshots and I said, we're going to bush every attack. When you come in, he said, why? 2 dozen milk, you know. What about mango trees? You know? So, we are destroying the ecosystem by how we live. So, what is the impact of climate change on irrigation? It's like love irrigation. Increase irrigation demands because you see the time we get hotter, gets and water, beans. warmer temperatures and change in rainfall pattern will lead to increased irrigation needs with an estimate suggested that 20% increase in worldwide irrigation water requirement by 2080. Well, some of you will be able to be about 2080, so I can't do the figure. You understand? 20% increase. Let me just say something. Like NIC, annually, reforestation and conservation effort. All of us inside this we are agriculturists. How many trees have we planted this year? For the one that we cut down. When we go back out in Yamsi, we cut down 15,000. Ask them how many planted. One, not even one. Say that even one road. Climate resilient infrastructure. Invest in infrastructure that can withstand the impact of climate change. Anytime you want anything, just I can give you our agricultural engineering number. His name is Redford. Talk to him. He will give you a good deal. So, international cooperation. We have to stop looking at this thing as only Jamaica. We have to look at it as everybody. This world is one ecosystem. You understand? So we have to cooperate and the technology and embrace all those technology globally. So, question, talk to you. That was quick and sweet. Don't please. Mr. MC, the lady laughed when we said those story. She doesn't like those stuff. Yes. It's a finish, yes.
Oh, sir, we have a question immediately. But first, let us comment or see.
Hi guys, thanks for watching. You've reached the end of the first video. We have a second video coming up where we went to the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation World Water Day Expo at William Nip High School on the Friday, March 21st. So stay tuned for that. A lot of activities and information in that video. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like and share.